What's the number one mistake that most executives make with their sleep? Here's a clue. It's not that they don't sleep enough. It's something less tangible, and it's actually more of a principle. The answer lies in that they treat their sleep like a negotiable expense, something to cut back on when work ramps up, travel gets busy, or life throws them a curveball. Welcome, I'm Julian Hayes II, founder of Executive Health, where the mission is we help CEOs, entrepreneurs, and other A-level leaders optimize their billion-dollar asset so they can thrive in business, lead in their communities, and be more present with their families. And here is the reality. Poor sleep isn't just about feeling tired. It is much more than just that thing. For top-level leaders, whether you are a CEO, whether you are a founder, or just any other type of leader with significant responsibility, poor sleep directly erodes and weakens the very fabric and things that your career depends on. Whether that's decision-making, your emotional control and intelligence, your memory, your charisma, your creativity, your ability to manage and work with people is all directly affected by poor sleep. Now, chronic sleep mismanagement is not just costing you a productive morning. This thing is actually compounding into poor strategic choices, shorter tempers with your team, and we can probably throw family in there as well. I often say that a lot of the relationship problems in the world could be filled if we had better quality sleep. Now, throw in there also weaker executive presence and charisma. As I mentioned earlier, long-term health risks that can cut your career and your, unfortunately, life potential shorter. So if we think of it this way, you wouldn't cut your company's IT security budget because things were busy, and sleep is that same type of infrastructure, except it's protecting your brain and your body instead of servers. And so as I mentioned earlier, the biggest mistake when we think about sleep is treating it like a light switch that you can just turn off and then turn on at will. And I like things in threes, so we're going to break this down into three parts. And the first mistake, or the first principle, philosophy, whichever one you want to call it, is ignoring circadian rhythm. Most leaders assume that they can push through late nights and simply make it up later. But your body doesn't necessarily work like that. Now, sure, a night or two, that's going to happen. Newborns, it's going to happen. But we're in this example here, in this context, we're talking consistently over the long duration of time here, not just for a short time. Because we all have seasons of life where our training's not as good, where our nutrition's not as good, where our sleep is not going to be as good. That's fine. But our circadian rhythm, it's hardwired through hormones, metabolism, brain chemistry. They're all hardwired to sync with light and dark cycles. So fighting that clock lowers your performance whether you realize it or not. So when you ignore your circadian rhythms and, in a nutshell, try to override your innate biology that has been with us through millennia and multiple generations, our bodies are going to have to eventually pay the bill for doing something like this. You can only defer that for so long before it catches up with you. And much like anything, the further you put it off, the more you procrastinate it, the tougher, the more significant, the more painful it's going to be when you actually have to go and deal with it. The second philosophy and principle here is prioritizing quantity over quality. Many executives, leaders, entrepreneurs, and even just people in the day-to-day life that I talk to, well, they say, Julian, I get my 6 to 7 hours, so I'm good. But if those hours are fragmented and they're filled with blue light exposure beforehand, You have a drink or two each night to take some of the edge off of the day, to relax a little bit. It helps you sleep. It helps me unwind. You hear all these types of things about that. This is actually cutting short your deep and REM cycles. And of course, you're running on half capacity, but your sleep quality, your sleep architecture is dramatically being affected with these types of decisions here. And our sleep quality is important because this is also going to determine how well you're consolidating memories, you're regulating your hormones, you're repairing tissues, your ability to lose body fat. So 6 clean, uninterrupted hours that's aligned to your natural rhythms, 10 out of 10 times are more powerful and better than 8 broken ones that are fragmented. So it's quality just as much as it's quantity. But for most people now, they need to focus on the quality part of it. The third principle is using sleep as what I call a buffer zone. This is a silent killer, and our schedules overflow. Oftentimes, sleep, rest, recovery, rejuvenation, whichever word you want to use with it, this is the first thing that many leaders sacrifice. And sometimes it's unintentionally. It's just the way life is. It's just what happens. So they treat it like a flexible buffer that can always be shaved off. But over time, this becomes a pattern. This becomes something that you're used to. Your body gets used to it, which is kind of a tricky thing because you feel like you're doing fine on such short sleep. But there's a difference, a huge one, between your existing and getting through the day and you're thriving and feeling optimal throughout the day. So over time, this is becoming a pattern. And this leads to an energy debt that coffee cannot help, supplements cannot help, a weekend catch up cannot fix. So instead of being the buffer, have sleep be your foundation that everything else is built on. I rather leaders cut their exercising time, intensity, and whatnot short than them to sacrifice and cut short their recovery. Because recovery is ultimately the driving force to enhancing everything else, to building everything else, to repairing everything else. So I'm sure there's some pushback around this that, hey, Julian, this sounds great, but I run a global company. I can't always get perfect sleep. And you are absolutely right. Life happens. Markets don't wait and care for your REM cycles. I totally get that. But here's the truth. Even a partial alignment pays off on this. 20 to 30 minutes of morning sunlight, setting a consistent cutoff for screens at night, leveraging blue blocking glasses like the ones I have on right now. There's different colors for different times of the day. That's a different topic for a different video. Protecting a non-negotiable sleep window, even 4 or 5 nights a week of doing this. Look at your batting average. And over time, you're winning a lot more days compared to losing them. All of this, when you do this and stack up more wins significantly compared to maybe days that are not as ideal, this is creating measurable improvements in your mental acuity, your resilience, your emotional control, and your physique and your health. So think of this like compound interest. You don't have to be perfect, but the consistent deposits add up. And the longer that you neglect it, the more expensive the debt becomes. So one costly mistake from fatigue, whether it's missing a market signal, it's botching a negotiation, it's losing your edge with your board, it's not having as much presence with your family. This can cost far more than protecting your sleep. So the takeaway of this is the number one mistake that executives make with their sleep is treating it like a flexible line item, if we're speaking in corporate terms, instead of an operating system that it really is. So if you're serious about leading at the highest level in your business, in your community, and most importantly, in your family. Protect your rhythms, guard your quality, and stop using sleep as your buffer zone. And with that said, if you are a A-level leader, who knows, this may be an area that you've been struggling with, that you've been neglecting. Perhaps it's time to take a closer look at your entire performance system. And that's exactly what we do here, helping leaders turn their sleep and pretty much every other lever into a strategic advantage. If this sounds of interest to you, there's a link below to schedule a private executive health diagnostic call. Think of this as a chemistry meeting where we're learning about each other. We're going to see if it makes sense. Regardless of what happens after that, you will have a game plan to turn your billion-dollar asset into the strategic tool that it is. Until next time, until the next video, optimize today and lead tomorrow. Peace.